All right, good morning, guys. It's October 15th, which means it's Wednesday, which means it's hump day, which means just downhill skiing with a couple of slaloms into the weekend. How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the Hat and Beard Show. Thanks for telling a friend. That's what we love about you. Welcome or welcome back. Today, guys, we are going to be talking for our midweek grind. A little bit of interesting news. Well, this kind of slid a little under the radar, but as we know last week, Smoking Joe Flacco got traded from Cleveland to Cincinnati. Now, I was hoping he would have the chance to do the funniest thing in the world and troll the Green Bay Packers twice in 1 year, but that didn't happen. Though we are now finding out, according to the New York Post, Derek Carr sounds open to NFL return as he turns down Bengals for one reason. And what might that reason be? Spoiler alert, I can probably count about 30 million reasons as to why he decided not to come back. Then it is a national news story, although it does have to do with our Detroit Lions. This is a national news segment because, thanks to Brian Branch doing yeoman's work and shining a big old spotlight on the corruption that surrounds the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the officiating, anyone who disputes that can get bent. Did NFL officials lie when giving pool report after the Lions game? Dan Campbell contradicts what NFL officials reported after Lions loss to Chefs. Shout out John McCron over here at Detroit Lions on SI. We will dive into that. And boy, oh boy, if you looked at the thumbnail, guys, they think we're stupid. They think we are a bunch of dummy-dumb dipshits here in the Midwest because we're just a flyover state in a rust belt of a failed state, right? We are nothing. Don't believe your lying eyes, you stupid Midwestern hillbillies. You don't know what you're talking about. We are the coastal elites who make all the rules and get to dictate how you enjoy your lives. Do not believe your lying eyes. You are a dumb, dumb, dumb head. You are a stupid person, Hat, and you don't know what you're talking about. As some twat said yesterday or on Monday's video, I do run the dumbest channel on YouTube. Shout out the Hat and Beard Show, dumbest YouTube channel on YouTube. Lions safety Brian Branch plans to appeal his suspension. How that works, when the Lions will know, and is there better than a snowball's chance in hell that he plays Monday against the Tampa, Bay, Buccaneers? It is a bit of a bigger game Monday night as Tampa's kind of Tampa, Bay, Buccaneers are in a very unique situation. Not only are they up scrappy and upstart team, but Baker Mayfield is single-handedly poking a hole in the big narrative of Patrick Mahomes doesn't get any calls. He's not pampered at all. Well, Baker Mayfield, I can show you video evidence. He's begging to differ, and I'm sure that at some point he would love to get one smidgen of the calls that Patrick Mahomes gets. He is a whiny baby back bitch. Kansas City Chiefs fans, you can take that to the bank. I don't give a shit. Dan Campbell gives definitive answer on Alim McNeill's chances to play versus the Tampa, Bay, Buccaneers. Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell fully expects Alim the Dream, the Dancing Bear McNeill to make his season debut versus the Buccaneers. And with the suspension of Brian Branch, we're going to need all of the bullets in our gun if we want to go in and tangle with a dangerous, although injured, Tampa, Bay, Buccaneers team. And then finally, we will need to start kind of focusing on this, guys. The trade deadline is ever so looming. We head into week 7 of the NFL season. There's only a little bit of very small window left before that could happen. 5 potential Lions trades that would excite fans, but not break the bank. Very important that we don't break the bank. Remember, Brad Holmes, well, he's good at counting his shekels while eating hummus, but not break the bank with one big Super Bowl contending swing. What could we be? Who could it be now? What could we possibly do? I haven't even proofread this article yet, so we will see what kind of names pop up and just kind of get your guys' general feel about the situation. And then if there is time, I do want to shout out, and I actually almost titled the thumbnail of the video this. I almost made this our thumbnail story. And that is, they don't want football anymore. Okay? I don't know if football, American football, and even the the version that we have now, I don't know if it's going to exist in 20 years, guys. And I'm not just saying this to sound the alarm or be clickbaity. I genuinely don't think that we are going to have enough young men who are tough enough to play at this level. Potterville football cancels final 2 remaining games. Okay, this is very local here in the mid-Michigan area. Potterville High School is canceling the remaining 2 games on their schedule. Now, they're already playing 8-man football. Why are they canceling the last 2 games? Well, because of injuries. Injuries are mounting up. Injuries have just piled up, and the team cannot field an 8-man double-sided team, right? You can't field 16 guys to go out there and play a full game without them getting crippled with injuries. We've actually seen over the mid-Michigan area other varsity programs just absorbing their JV squad. The entire squad, not guys getting pulled up because of 1 or 2 injuries, not guys getting pulled up for the playoff push, but just absorbing the entire JV roster to fill out and field a team on Friday nights. And we will take a brief look at the MHSAA rules that I think are leading to the amount of injuries. This does kind of tie into the Dan Campbell toughness, what we do here in the Motor City, Brian Branch, yada, yada, and just a little bit of a commentary on the continued degradation of masculinity in our society. Good morning, Mad Hatter Nation. How you doing? Carrie's here. Brent's here. Brandy Coffee. How you doing, sister? Good to see you. Ryan Allen. Hi, diddly ho, neighbor. Ryan Allen, how you doing, brother? I need to text you later. I was going to figure out or ask if you're still burning cigars, and if so, what kind you enjoy. I do believe there is a event this weekend that I would like to send Hat and Boobs with a little present for you, my dude. Also, I was going to ask one more question, but we won't get into that here. Good morning, Mom. How you doing? Jack2125. Good morning. How you doing, brother? Art Vanderlay's here. All I want for Christmas is a Chiefs versus Lions Super Bowl. Art, my guy, do we want that? Do we really want that? Because we already know the outcome. We already know the outcome of what that game's going to look like, and that is it's going to be a love affair. It's going to be a 3-hour triple X-rated live performance on television of just a full-on blow bang by every single official who has ever worked or will ever work in the NFL. Just morning glory milking farm Patrick Mahomes as much as they can all day long. What's up, Chase? Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. I'm glad you're able to make it. Sorry you're late, Mr. Detroit City. And Mr. Detroit City is never late nor early, and Mr. Detroit City arrives exactly when he intends to. If you guys haven't already, there is a poll up in the chat. 1 like equals the world is too soft. With 10 votes, 100% of you are saying that it's softer than baby poo. 0% of you saying no. Nerf the world. Continue to nerf the world. Guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Ring the notification bell so you can be notified every single time we go live. Shout out all of the new viewers. Damn, y'all. You're making a boy feel special. 7:51 at the time of recording. Dare I say the last 2 days have been the 2 largest and most successful days of growth I've ever had on YouTube. And that is because of all of you guys in Mad Hatter Nation, commenting, sharing, engaging. Yeah, if you go and you look at the comments, your boy did troll a little bit, but the reality is, if you're going to come at me with nonsense, well, I'm going to respond with nonsense because there's no sense in engaging with stupid people. Sorry, you need more than single-digit IQ to be a part of the Mad Hatter Nation. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard, guys. Like the video, share it around with each and every one of all of your friends. That is going to keep us on this freight train steaming towards 1,000 subscribers, you guys. I mean, we are on the fast track, and I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you tuning in and telling a friend. Now, let's get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
All righty-dighty, Mac and tighty. Derek Carr sounds open to NFL return as he turns down Bengals for one reason. Now, I didn't even think about Derek Carr being a quarterback on the market. He had a shoulder injury. He didn't want to have surgery on it, so he retired. That's the long and short of it right now. If he wanted to come back, well, he might be forfeiting a couple $1 dues. The Cincinnati Bengals burned up the phone lines looking to bring in a new quarterback after Jake Browning failed to perform even at a league average as the quarterback while filling in for the injured cool Joe Burrow. The Bengals are forced to trade for veteran signal caller Smokin' Joe Flacco. However, one notable option didn't work out behind the scenes. That is Derek Carr. There's Derek Carr, the former Saints quarterback, who surprisingly retired this past offseason, was among the players that the Bengals attempted to sign in the past few weeks. Derek Carr's brother, David Carr, revealed. Good old David Carr. You guys remember David Carr, number 1 overall pick, the first pick of the Houston Texans franchise. That is the expansion pick, and I remember turning Derek Carr, at least in Madden, into a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. I also did the same with Mike McMahon and Casey Casey Fitzsimmons or Casey Fitzpatrick? Some tight end the Lions had a long, long time ago, back in the Roy Williams and Charles Rogers and Mike Williams days. But the reason he's not throwing passes to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins right now has nothing to do with the shoulder injury that allegedly forced him to give up $30 million in guaranteed salary to retire. It was about the looming presence of Burrow, who is out with turf toe that is expected to sideline him into December. Derek would like to be in a situation that obviously is a team that he really needs a guy to come in and take him out for the long haul. He's feeling that maybe Joe Burrow might come back at some point this year, at least try to come back. I don't know if Derek would be feeling comfortable being in the situation where, say, he was to enter a team situation where the quarterback was hurt and he drove them all the way in. They got into the playoffs and then he had to go sit on the sidelines. I understand where you're coming from. I'm willing to bet he also had to give up some of that guaranteed money because it's probably breaching his contract. Also, there was a quarterback who did that exact same thing, and he's been a folk hero in Philadelphia ever since, and that's old Big Dick Nick Foles. You could have done that. David added that his brother is very happy in retirement, being able to, quote, wake up whenever he wants. An older brother's always going to view little brothers the same, no matter how old you get, huh? But the news that he is ready to step in at any moment's notice is certainly a bit surprising, considering Derek's retirement circumstances. I think that if a scenario shows itself, which historically those have popped up, and obviously, God forbid, you don't want a quarterback on a team that is a contender to go down, but this stuff happens. So Derek will definitely be ready if that situation arises, David said. It had been initially reported that Derek wanted to avoid another shoulder surgery that would have been accompanied with a long rehab process that may have ended his 2025 season. Derek, 34, a 4-time Pro Bowler, played very well for the Saints last season in limited action and has received rave reviews during his early season role as an analyst for an NFL game on Netflix. Derek threw for 2,100 yards and 15 touchdowns and 5 INTs last season for the Saints and would certainly profile as an upgrade over most of the other options available if a team does need a quarterback. It's unlikely that the Saints would need some form of compensation via trade in order to give up his rights. That's another thing is if Cincinnati is in fact going to try and go about it the way they're going about it, where they're just going to overpay on offense and just throw darts in the dark on defense and hope that it hits, you're going to need every single one of those picks to make that happen. Ultimately, I don't think the dollars made sense. The draft exchanges for the rights of the players made sense. And I understand Derek Carr, where he's coming from. He doesn't want to be a stopgap. Still wants to be the guy, at least for one season, wants to be the guy. So, if Joe Burrow were to be out indefinitely, I think there might have been a better chance, possibly, maybe, ifs and buts, candies and nuts, grandma born with wheels, she'd have been a wagon, yada, yada, yada. It's an interesting thought exercise. How effective do you think he would have been? You know what I'm saying? How we doing, chat? Hit up Motor City Cats at Don. Jack, FTC. Late. Sam, it's all good, brother. You guys, you're never late nor early, right? Believe it or not, guys, I I do understand that there is a whole ass world outside of my little room here in Grandma's Studio One, and I do know that you guys have other things that you could be doing, and sometimes probably should be doing instead of watching the Hat and Beard Show. But I appreciate it, and that's what makes you guys and the Mad Hatter Nation some of the best fans on YouTube. So, boys, obviously Sunday, and it's been a talking point now for going on 3 days, right? And I'm going to keep milking this teat while I can, at least for a little bit. Did NFL officials lie when giving pool report after Lions game? Dan Campbell contradicts what NFL officials reported after Lions lost to the Chiefs. What does that mean? What does that mean? Something is very, very fishy about the way NFL officials handled the penalty called on Detroit quarterback Jared Goff. Now, I've been told by apparently everybody in the Chiefs fandom some variation of how I'm stupid, I don't know ball, Jared Goff's dumb, this is the stupidest thing we've ever seen, learn the rules. This is coming from the same people who don't understand the difference between offsides, encroachment, false start, or unabated to the quarterback. But they're going to tell me that I don't know ball while they shove Cheetos down their throat. Most of them don't even have a fake picture up, let alone any type of a profile picture up. So not going to add a whole lot of credibility. Do want to shout out there were two guys who, one of them admittedly was a Packers fan, and we had a actually pleasant exchange, okay? And now he subscribed to the channel. Same shout out with, I think it's Mr. Fig, I think it was something like that. Again, not necessarily the most productive introduction, but, ultimately humor won the day. Got another subscriber out of that. So, look, I'm not completely unopposed to hearing other people's opinions and viewpoints. Just come correct, okay? Now, I am going to take this a step farther in that, the majority, if not all of the people that comment is talking a bunch of shit, they don't create content, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to create content, but they don't understand. I have access to the back-end numbers, okay? So I can see how long people are actually watching my content. Now, I realize that this whole show is an hour, sometimes longer than an hour long, and it does require a certain amount of cerebral activity to follow my circular conversations, and we do conduct a lot of thought exercises. My point being is that none of these people watched the video long enough to hear the entire argument on why I laid out that though Brian Branch's actions were wrong, he should not have, right? Yes, overarching hindsight's 2020. Yes, he should not have hit Juju Smith-Schuster. However, his actions have led to the proper outcome because here we are 3 days now. National media is still talking about the corrupt officiating that has been going on surrounding Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs for years now. Okay, the court of public opinion has now turned on the Chiefs, and it's all thanks to Brian Branch. So everybody that wants to talk shit about Brian Branch, how the Lions are dirty, blah, 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 sit and spin, motherfucker. We win. That's how it works out. We not only do we win on the field the majority of the time by doing it in a unique, interesting, and ultimately tough-nosed and gritty way, but now America's team has the court of public opinion behind us. You are no longer the darlings of the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is no longer the hero. He's turned heel now. You either need to embrace it or get the fuck out of the way, dude. Number one viewer, Mr. Detroit City. Generally, you really are, dude. You generally are. You don't know ball. Thanks, Chase. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Cerebral, that leaves out Bears fans. Brent, nicely done, dude. Nicely done. That was funny. That was funny stuff. Appearing on his weekly radio interview on 97.1 The Ticket, Dan Campbell again reiterated he was told directly by an official the call came from New York. That's very important. Very, very important. The official told Motor City Dan Campbell that call came from New York. Boy, I am really... I'm feeling Dan Campbell right now. If we got time, we'll talk about personal shit at the end of the show. As a significant issue then emerges as the play is not a reviewable play. Officials are not permitted to receive assistance on a play like that. Official Craig Rolstad was asked directly what kind of assistance the crew received after the play. Recall no penalty was thrown until at least 90 seconds. That is a minute and a half. That is not a couple of breaths. That is not waiting for, oh, yes, I need the gray matter to remember this incredibly obscure rule. That is them going, what do we do? Teacher, I think they broke the rules. That's exactly what happened. After Goff on his way, we did not have any assistance from Kansas City or New York, Wolstad explained. Now, I will take it a step farther. Why would Kansas City be assisting the officials? I think Rolstad here just sank his own fucking boat. Okay. We did not have any assistance from Kansas City. Pray tell. Why would one of the teams be assisting the officials? Seems like one of the teams has the ability to place their thumb on the scales of what should be a unbiased officiating party. I think he just outed himself right there. New York, I can understand. It's where the NFL officials or the league officials' office is at. That's where all the information comes out of. Why would Kansas City ever be involved with this? Why would their input, why would Andy Reid's information, why would anything ever have to do with the call? I thought this game is officiated with the refs on the field, so now New York can override the calls. This is so biased. Sam, I agree with you, dude. At what point? Why even have refs on the field? If New York is just going to pick up the phone and make dictations from the other side of the country, why even have refs on the field? And if we're going to allow assistance from Kansas City, which I don't know if you guys recall, there were two teams playing on the Sunday night game, the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm curious why they have any sway. Why play the game then? Why even field an opposing team if the Chiefs are going to, if the refs have two earpieces, one from the offices in New York and one from Andy Reid's asshole, why even play against them? This is so it's obvious, right? Am I reading it? Am I reading into this too much, guys? Is there too much atrazine in the water that's turning the frickin' frogs gay? Is that what's going on? Is Kermit the Frog gay? Is that why they're protecting him? Too much atrazine in Patrick Mahomes' water bottle. That's clearly what's going on. Old Pfizer boy definitely has been loading him up with atrazine that's turning Patrick Mahomes gay, and that's why Kansas City needs to have their thumb on the scale. This is clearly nothing but the globalists trying to take over and keep the hard-working meritocracy of the Detroit Lions down. The Lions sent in the footage from the call, but Campbell could not reveal publicly what the organization heard back. The official was asked about the decision period after Goff went into motion and received a touchdown toss from running back David Montgomery. Quote, "It's my job to see if the quarterback stopped initially," Rolstad explained. The down judge watches the player in motion, and we had to communicate between him, my umpire, and my line judge whether or not he initially stopped at the quarterback position, and then whether he stopped after he went in motion out of my view toward the left-hand side of the field. Interesting. All I read right here, it is my job to see if the quarterback stopped initially. The down judge watches the player between him and the umpire and my line judge. Ooh! Hey, that's the modern way of doing business. Just don't take any fucking accountability. Push the blame off onto your subordinates because shit rolls downhill, right, guys? Fucking pussy. There was a little bit of confusion in our discussion whether he had stopped initially or whether he had stopped at the end. And what we were talking about, that's why the flag came in so late, because we had to make sure that we could come up with some type of arbitrary nonsense that didn't allow the Detroit Lions to steal the soul from the Kansas City Chiefs opening drive. That wouldn't have made for a very entertaining game, and we would have had to listen to Patrick Mahomes cry in our ear all goddamn day long. Rule 7, Article 4, or Section 4, Article 2, Item 3 indicates, quote, it is legal for a T formation quarterback to go in motion whether he has placed his hands under center, on his knees, or on the body of the center. However, it is a false start if the action is quick and abrupt, if the player fails to come to a complete stop for at least a full second prior to the ball being snapped. It is illegal motion. I'm pretty sure that Jared Goff came to a stop, and if that is honest to God the rule, then the Lions have been committing illegal motions 95% of the time. Every team that uses motions, how often do you see the motion man resetting? I'm watching motion mans on jet sweeps come in motion. They don't reset. I'm very confused as to why now Jared Goff is the only guy that ever has to set in motion for 1 second. Explain it to me like I'm a dumbass. I'm waiting. Where's all these big brain Kansas City Chiefs fans? I'm waiting. Because I'm pretty sure that the Chiefs scored a fuckload of bullshit passing touchdowns. This is why I got out of fantasy. Because Patrick Mahomes is doing that nonsense shuttle pass bullshit where the wide receiver would come in motion in the backfield. And he didn't stop for a fucking second. But as he's passing the tackle, they're snapping the ball and he's chucking it into the belly of the running or the wide receiver as he's screaming across the back end of the field. Does that not classify as illegal motion then? Because I'm very confused. Jared Goff it is legal for a T formation quarterback to go in motion, whether he has placed his hands under center, on his knees, or on the body of the center. Okay, he never did any of that. However, it is false start if the action is quick and abrupt. I'm going to be very honest, guys. I don't think anything Jared Goff has ever done athletically, no offense, has ever been quick and abrupt. You're telling me that he's all of a sudden gone from being Drew Bledsoe rolling out of the pocket to Usain Bolt when he's in fucking motion? I don't get it. And I'll never understand. But you know what? This is the dipshittery, the lack of common sense, the blatant biasy and protection of the Kansas City Chiefs. The issue appears to the outside assistants influence the decision to throw the flag, which is not permissible. Campbell has now expressed twice publicly he was told that New York dialed in to give the officials direction as to how to proceed. At the very least, the pool report appears fraudulent, as Campbell gains no benefit, nothing, from lying about what an official told him. What? Yes. That's a good fucking point. His story hasn't changed. Dan Campbell has nothing to gain from lying about this. And I'm going to be very honest, the character of Dan Campbell does not really persuade me into believing that he's the type of guy to make this type of shit up. Dan Campbell's a pretty calls it like he sees it, wears his emotions on his sleeve guy. To call him a liar, well, I think we know what the reality is here, guys. I'm not going to look at the pool report. It's nothing that we haven't already went over. It's just a more detailed, every word explained. But it does show that, the officials have said that there is no outside interference. No New York, no Kansas City, which I don't understand why Kansas City has any right to influence the officials in a game that they are participating in. Okay. And also, it is illegal on that play for any type of information to come from an outside. If your officials can't get it right on the field, well, then this ties and gives more credence to what we've been saying for a long time. Your officials suck donkey balls, dude. They're not good at their fucking job. Based on now, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but from everything I've just read, does it not feel like the NFL just buried themselves, that they just sunk their own ship? The ref said that Kansas City didn't have any input. Why would you say that? Why would you ever say that? Something seems fishy. Something seems very, very fishy. Kind of like somebody saying that twice publicly that they didn't have Charlie Kirk taken out. It seems kind of fishy. And two, why would Dan Campbell say twice now? Twice, publicly, twice say, you told me that they called. What does he have to gain? Nothing. This is screwy, man. This is screwy. I guess it shows that play that the refs made is over the game. Controller is over the refs. Stood 10 toes down on the decision. Oh, gotcha. Just talking smack. Okay, right on. Oh, what's up, Jody? How you doing? Good to see you. Goff owns the North. I'm chasing. Apologies. You're on fire. Oh, damn. Sorry, guys. You guys got a lot of chat going on here. Oh, Alex, how you are beloved. Thanks. Stay safe out there. Nice. Was that unnecessary roughness block in the back of BB? Exactly, Sam. I agree. No accountability. Sounds like my ex-wife. Yeah, I'm spicy today. Sorry, you're all. It's all good, Chase. It's all good. Goff didn't even go under center, so he wouldn't have to stop. Art, that's what I said. I believe my exact words were Jared Goff walked up to Graham Glasgow, slapped him on the ass, and then went in motion. What up, Doe? What up, Motown? How you doing? Lion's about to slaughter the Bucks. Goff is going to show why he should be the MVP leader. Yeah, dude. Oh, Bucks. I like Bucks. Dude, I'm telling you, Goff should be the MVP. Facts, Goff and abrupt are not seen in the same sentence. Exactly, dude. Goff is not known to be quick and abrupt. You guys totally. All right, thank you for justifying me. I'm like, quick and abrupt are two terms that I would never use to describe Jared Goff with anything. He doesn't even talk quick and abrupt. You know, and that, I'm not trying to talk shit about his slush, but he doesn't even talk quick and abrupt. Low test is a big issue with these generations nowadays. 100%, Mr. Detroit City. Goodell gets paid $40 million a year to stay woke. Damn straight. Still whining about the call versus Kansas City. Yep, Johnny Ripple. I am merely pointing out facts, dude. Every team gets screwed every week. I know the Lions fans somehow feel entitled, but you're not going to win them all. Yeah. So okay, I'll give you this. You are correct. Every team gets screwed every week. And you think that we do feel entitled, but you're not going to win them all. I don't think that we feel entitled. Here's the thing, bud. Here's the thing, Johnny, and I don't know if you're still watching, bud. Historically, there have been, at least from the Lions fandom perspective, historically, this has been a trend with the Detroit Lions. See the Lions' previous playoff appearance against the Dallas Cowboys with Brandon Pettigrew getting just mauled and no PI being called. Look at the Cowboys in Dallas 2 years ago with the declared eligible. There just seems to be Calvin Johnson not completing the process. There seems to be a tendency to make sure that the Lions are on the losing side of any calls. And over many, many years, at least for me, over many decades, it starts to pile up, which is ultimately why I say Brian Branch did nothing wrong, because he spoke for the silent masses of Detroit Lions fans who have been saying this for years now. And unfortunately, and this isn't a shot across the bow at you, other teams' fans come in and they just go, oh, shut up, you're just whining, nobody ever gets it. And it's like, yes. But if that's how everybody gets it, why do we have to accept that? Like, I guess what I don't understand is the statement of every team gets missed calls. Why are we accepting that as the standard? Why are we saying that this is an okay product? And then if we're demanding a better product, why then go out and defend such a piss poor product if yourself say that all teams get screwed? Why, I guess, defend it? You know, now I get that you're a Chiefs fan, and that's to an extent understandable. And I'm not trying to be like an asshole. I'm just trying to kind of rationalize it. Like, even if it ultimately does benefit your team in particular, that's just my opinion. Why are we openly accepting this known unknown? It's the most known unknown in football. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't accept the answer of everybody gets it, this is just how it is. If you know that it's wrong, why tolerate it? You know what I'm saying? Like I just won't. I can't wrap my head around that. You know what I'm saying? The call, it swung momentum. TD away from them. They have the B. Yep, I agree with Attila. Way too many non-calls over doesn't. Attila, you are preaching, brother. You are preaching. What about the refs in the 23 Dallas game? Lines came out with the BTA to the Vikings, so good luck with the Bucks. I'm damn straight. Belt to ass. I love that line. Goff has never gotten credit for his play when he plays well. When he has time, he is maybe the best in the league in intermediate stuff. He doesn't get enough credit. Shout out Johnny Ripple. All right, dude. Hey. See, dude, this is what I like, man. This is what I like. Oh, you're not a Chiefs fan. I'm sorry, dude. I thought you said you were a Chiefs fan. My bad, dude. My bad, bro. Oh, my bad. I, for some reason, thought that I took that as you're a Chiefs fan, dude. My bad, brother. I'm kind of stupid. All right. I got like a 6th grade reading level, dude. I'm kind of stupid. How about the Lions' blatant PI against Puka not being called in the playoff game to ensure the Lions won that game? You want me to call balls and strikes, dude? I'll call balls and strikes. Yeah, that was a blatant pass interference. Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you on that, dude. I'll agree with you. I'll also stand here and say that Ndamukong Suh is a dirty fucking player. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Not a Chiefs fan. I'm biased. Rams? Oh, I wonder, dude. I'm not going to lie, Johnny. When you pulled out that Puka PI thing, I was like, damn, that is a very specific thing. That is a very specific example. That makes sense, dude. All right, that makes sense, brother. That makes sense. Shout out Johnny Appleseed. Morning hat. Been off the grid the last couple of days for work. Yeah, Derek, I was wondering what was going on, brother. Hadn't seen you the last couple of days. I was hoping you're okay, dude. But again, as we said earlier on the show, brother, I totally understand. Y'all got lives outside of me and my little room here at Grandma's Studio One. But it's just been a lot of talking about BB, dude, and the refs and stuff. But Johnny, yeah, not a Chiefs fan. You're right about the level of officiating is mad and in the league bad. Thank you, dude. See, that's what I'm saying, dude. I hope I wasn't too aggressive. I do tend to get a little defensive about the Lions because, again, as you know, when you have your team, you see every little thing over many, many years. You know what I'm saying? Now, I get where 31 other teams are going, shut up, Detroit. Quit your whining. You lost. Scoreboard. Get good. No Johns. I would probably understand that a little bit more. But as we agreed on, I'm so disincentivized and just disgruntled with the quality of the product that we're getting that saying that it just happens to everybody is no longer an acceptable answer. You know what I'm saying? Like I just can't jive with that. Or on the other hand, the Rams beat the Saints in the playoffs with Goff, with maybe the worst non-PA cup. You ain't wrong, Johnny. You ain't wrong. So you're a Rams fan, dude. So like, I get that. That makes sense why you gave Goff some respect, dude. All right, that makes sense then. So you know a little bit about Jared Goff then, dude. You know a little bit about Jared Goff. That's cool, man. That's cool. Hey, man, this is a good positive interaction, Johnny. I like that. That was a good positive interaction. All right, guys. So what's the plan for Brian Branch? He's going to appeal the suspension, and what can we learn about that? The long and short is, guys, it's not going to happen. Okay, he can appeal it all he wants, but it's not going to happen. Let's start with the suspension point. Once the player knows that he's being suspended, he then has 3 days in which he must file an appeal with the NFL Players Association. From there, the appeal will be heard by hearing officials jointly appointed by the NFL and NFL Players Association. In this case, it's 3 former players, former Buccaneers linebacker Derek Brooks, former Packers receiver Jordy Nelson, nice, and former Steelers guard Raymond Foster. That's nice that Jordy Nelson's on there. Good to see him doing that. In the hearing, both Branch and the NFL will present their evidence, video, even witness testimony of the event. This goes down much like a court case would for a major crime. You even bring an attorney to appeal. If not an attorney, you can bring an NFL player rep with you. From there, a ruling is made and the suspension will be upheld, reduced, or vacated. No matter what the decision is, it is final and binding. It cannot be changed again. When will the Lions know the result of Brian Branch's appeal? They're going to know very fast. Dan Campbell said Wednesday morning that the Lions expect to hear the result of Branch's appeal later that day. So we should know by the end of the day, and we'll talk about it tomorrow in our Thursday night pregame show. Our Thursday morning Thursday night preview show. Sorry, I got to make sure I say that right. We're not going to like this one. The appeals for fighting works about 10 to 15% of the time. That's just an estimate. There is no public data that shows a definitive number. The chances that Branch walks out of this scot-free, though, are very, very low. The hope here is that he can at least get the suspension reduced to a very large fine. But 10 to 15% is hard to overcome, and these, quote, judges usually tend to just defer to what the NFL authority is on the matter. We'll see what happens. I don't think anything's going to happen, guys. I really don't think he is going to see anything reduced. I'm pretty sure that they're going to uphold all of the rulings. I don't think that they can add any increased fines or punishments. But the reality is that Brian Branch is going to miss the Bucs game, and I got to call balls and strikes. The punishment fits the crime. Okay. Although I don't think that Brian Branch did anything wrong because his actions led to the outcome that was desired. Okay, it shined a light on the corruption. By the rules, you did wrong. You admitted it, right? Now it's time to take it on the chin, right? And you're just going to have to sit out the Bucs game, and it's going to make things a little bit more difficult for us. But all you can do is sit out, work your ass off through the bye week, and then come out in week, what would that be, week 9? Rip-roaring and rocking, ready to roll. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and make a statement. Go out there in the first couple of chances you get, legally, within the confines of the rules, go and send a message to the NFL. It's unfortunate, whoever is going to be on the receiving end of that they are simply the notepad that you are writing down on before sending it to Roger Goodell. But that's just how you're going to have to do business. You're going to have to keep it between the whistles, but it's time to go beast mode. Brian Branch, I think we take the safety plug out and allow his power levels to go over 10,000. I think it's time for Super Saiyan Brian Branch. That's what I'm calling for. New York can't overturn a touchdown when no flag was thrown on site. Attila, 100%. You think the Lions will make a trade deadline deal for a DB or D-line? Johnny. It's been a topic of discussion, my man. It has been a topic of discussion. Stay tuned because we do have an article. Actually, I believe that is my next article. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, 2 more articles, and we actually will be talking about trade possibilities for the Lions. I do like the idea of going defensive line over DB because we should be getting back our DBs. I think that DJ Reed was playing a lot better, starting to really come on before the knee injury. My hope is that Terrion Arnold can do the same thing he did last year after the bye week, come back and keep his dirty little dick beaters off of wide receivers. Honestly, since he plays defensive back, and we all know that the reason you play defensive back and not wide receiver is because he can't catch. TA, you're never going to catch interceptions. Don't focus on that. I think we should tape up Terrion Arnold's hands into fists so that he can't get his dirty little dick beaters on wide receivers and get holding and pass interference calls. I do like the idea of possibly adding another defensive end, though the reality is, now that I think about it, the Lions are still pretty high on Marcus Davenport. Probably just going to end up letting it ride with him, unfortunately. If Brad has any balls, he announces BB32's contract extension while suspended. A big fuck you to everyone. Let's go Lions. Dude. Bro. Mr. Detroit City. I hope he does that. BB needs to take the punishment and try to do better. Hard life lesson. Exactly, Mom. He does need to take it on the chin. Goodell won't give in. Jack, you're right. Goodell never wants to seem weak or even morally correct. Once Goodell speaks, his decision is final. The BB beat down didn't just fall out of the sky. If the refs evenly call the game, that fight does. Art, bro, that's what we talked about yesterday. You could see Brian Branch is just really frustrated, man, in that post-game interview. It's years for him, and it's decades for us, but it's years for him of going, I'm getting sick of this shit, man. They don't fucking do anything. This is bullshit. Fine. You ain't going to do nothing about it. I'm going to do it myself. Fine. We're doing it live. I'm going to read it myself. We're doing it live. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly, Art. If they'd have just called the game even slightly fairly, this never would have happened. You know what I'm saying? Peelin's going to work. Brian's reputation is too bad. Yeah, dude, that's the thing. He's already got that. And that's what I've been saying, Brent, is that, like, that's partly why BB gets called for so many penalties, is because once you get that moniker, once you get a couple of flags like that, kind of like TA, dude, they're going to be looking for it. They're going to be quick to throw the flag on you, dude. It's just that thing. It's just that thing. They're tougher on BB playing on the field than these idiots can comply to cops and speeding in their supercars. Dude, right, dude? The fact that Brian Branch gets suspended for fighting with an asshole on the field after he was getting abused all game, and gets suspended for it is okay. But Henry Ruggs legitimately being considered to have a career in the NFL after he murdered a woman, okay, that's even a possibility is disgusting and shows you exactly how far our culture and society has fallen. We are disgusting people. We are a disgusting society. We champion losers. We applaud cheaters. We demonize truth-sayers. We can't stand people who ask questions, especially because those questions, generally the answer is, you're fucking stupid. It's fucking annoying. Sam, you nailed it, dude. You nailed it. Davin who? Haven't seen him. Exactly, Brent. Exactly, dude. Never heard of her. All right, guys. Dan Campbell gives a definitive answer on Alim McNeill's chances to play Monday versus the Bucks. On Tuesday, Dan Campbell was still being a bit dodgy when it came to availability of Alim McNeill. The Lions defender has been practicing the past 2 weeks as he continues his recovery from a torn ACL suffered late last season. He currently remains on the PUP list. On Wednesday, during his radio appearance on the Costin Jansen with Heather show, Campbell dropped the facade. He confirmed that McNeill will make his first 2025 appearance this week against Tampa. Barring something happening this week, Alim's freaking playing, man, Campbell said. When asked how much playing time he'll get, Campbell suggested they'll play it by ear, but he's physically ready for a lot. We'll take it as it comes. He's gotten more reps over the last 2 weeks. He's going to get more weeks in practice this week, too. In 4 seasons with the Lions, McNeill's produced 137 tackles, 22 TFLs, 11.5 sacks, 3 passes defended, and 2 forced fumbles. Last year, he was a key part of their pass rush, finishing tied for first on the team in pressures, despite missing 3 games. He was also a force in the run game, earning a 64.5 PFF grade against the run, good for 24th among defensive tackles. While he expects some rust from the fifth-year player, he doesn't expect McNeill to take long to find his footing. Listen, this is his first game back, so he'll have to shake off a couple of cobwebs. But after what I've seen the last 2 weeks, it won't take long, Campbell said. And that is a good thing. That is a little bit of a positive uptick. All the negativity around our defense and BB and the injuries. It is a good sign that McNeill's coming back. And then, before you know it, Rodrigo will be back. And, before you know it, TA will be back. And hopefully things kind of start ticking upwards because I think Calvin Shepard is a very talented defensive coordinator. As maybe another year or 2 under his belt, I think you'll really see him be able to expand his ability with depth pieces. I think you're starting to see him get challenged a little bit as the injuries kind of pile up. As long as we can keep the majority key components of our defense in place, though, Calvin Shepard should be able to, keep his head above water for these next couple of weeks, especially with Alim coming back. Then we're going to have the bye week, get healthy, get fresh, get our DBs back on the field. Everything should turn around just nicely. In reality, it's dark. We lost. BB got suspended and fined, and a big black eye on Juju, or a big bloody nose on Juju, which led to a black eye on the Detroit Lions season, at least from certain viewpoints, but not by mine. Brian Branch did nothing wrong. It is a good note. This is a little silver lining, a little bit of a good note that we are starting to get some guys back, some players healthy, starting to kind of turn the tide, as it were, get trending in the right direction. So, where do we have Johnny Ripple? You had a good question earlier. Do I think the Lions trade for a DB or defensive line? Those are 2 positions that we have kind of focused on all season, all off-season training camp. It did seem to be a bit of an issue, and unfortunately, the defensive line room, I think, is playing well enough. We are getting guys back. I would like another explosion piece. Although I do believe in Al-Qadim Muhammad, he's not the youngest guy on the roster. And eventually, he will hit his wall. Having that complimentary piece opposite Aiden Hutchinson is nice. Alim does kind of do that. Tyleik Williams has played above where his draft position would indicate his performance to be at. I do think Tyleik Williams is playing like a top 10 draft pick. That being said, we do need a couple of components, I think, to just maybe not necessarily get us over the hump. I think we can do that with the guys we have on roster, but a little bit more of a insurance, calming the waters, a nice piece, knowing that in case of fire we have X individual. You know, it would have been nice if it was last year's Zadarius Smith was in case of fire break glass and Hutch stayed healthy. But unfortunately, ifs and buts, candies and nuts, Hutch wrapped his leg around Alim McNeill's thigh. So right here, we got 5 potential trades that the Lions could use to excite fans but not break the bank with one big Super Bowl contending swing. The NFL trade deadline is a couple weeks away, and teams are already starting to make moves. Everyone is wondering if the Detroit Lions get involved this year. If they do, it'll probably rely on a contractual status of the players they could bring in. The Lions are actively trying to lock down Hutch, and then this offseason they'll have to work with Gibbs, Branch, Campbell, and Laporta. So with this list of players the Lions could trade for, we want to make sure it was players who fit a need, would get fans excited, and wouldn't break the bank. Here's what we found. I haven't read this yet. Oh, would you look at that? A guy that I'm like, gimme. Lions trade a 2026 fifth-round pick to Seattle for cornerback Reek Woolen. At this point, it feels like trading for a cornerback is the only move the Lions should make, and I get that. But there just aren't a lot of corners being shopped at the moment. That leaves Woolen, who is having a rough season and needs a change of scenery. The fact that Terrion Arnold hasn't been added to IR yet and DJ Reed could be back after the bye week. They both could be back, but still the Lions aren't tied too much financially, and they can part ways after the year if they want. That's with Reek Woolen. He'd be a one-year rental. Lions trade a 7th-round pick to the Rams for tackle DJ Humphries. The Lions need some help at tackle. We don't know when Taylor Decker will return, and Giovanni Manu is out at least for 4 games. Then there's your old friendly neighborhood Dan Skipper, who is a great swing tackle, but struggles as a starter. How about former Pro Bowler who is behind some young starters in Los Angeles right now? Does it help? He's essentially on a vet minimum deal. I think it does. And, I didn't think about this move. I kind of like it. A 7th-round pick for a solid insurance piece along the offensive line. Taylor Decker, we don't know when he's coming back. Giovanni Manu, although played okay-ish, he's on IR and out for the next 3 to 4 weeks, right? And yes, I do agree. As much as I do love our friendly neighborhood Dan Skipper, he is an awesome swing tackle and a hilarious jumbo troll eligible wide receiver, big tight end. He's not a starting caliber tackle in the NFL. Period, point blank. I think that if we were able to swindle DJ Humphries for a 7th-round pick, I mean, are we really losing? Even if he doesn't work out, what did you lose? A 7th-round pick? Yeah. I'll give up a 7th-round pick for a veteran Pro Bowler, former Pro Bowler who's playing on a vet minimum deal. It doesn't break the bank at all, and it's a nice insurance policy. This is another one I seen pop up, and a name I haven't thought about in a few years. This is the only article that I've seen this name in, though. There was actually one whole article just about this guy. The Lions trade 2026 6th-round pick to the Fish for edge rusher Jalen Phillips. I know how Lions fans feel about making moves for players with injury history, but the fact is, when it works out, it's a big win for everyone, and everyone ignores the past. Phillips is a baller right now, and if you want a guy who can bring pressure and get home for cheap, he's it. The former 18th overall pick has 18 pressures and a sack on the season. The Lions are then in the driver's seat on whether to bring him back for the 2026 year or let him walk. For a 6th-round pick, that's pretty good value. Now, I will add a little bit more weight to this because You know how Lions fans feel about making moves for players with an injury history. We don't really like it. But the guy who sits in the general manager's chair who makes the decisions, he kind of really likes it. He kind of really likes getting these injured players. So I think that adds a little bit more weight to the Jalen Phillips possibility. Lions trade 26th pick for the Titans edge rusher Arden Key. Also a little bit of an underrated, under-the-radar type player who would fit what we do here in Detroit really well. I like Key as a good rotationary piece. His starting days are beginning to be put behind him, but he can be a nice addition if he works in with Al-Qadim Muhammad and Marcus Davenport when he gets back. Key has 9 pressures and 2 sacks a season, mostly coming off the bench. Like the others on this list, Key is on the last year of his deal, and this is just a move to strengthen the rotation of the line. This is not a long-term deal. This is Zadarius Smith all over again, though I'm not necessarily upset with this. Okay. Full disclosure, I did not proofread this article, and I did not expect to see this name on this list. What do you guys... How do you guys feel about this? Interesting. Lions trade 2026 second-round pick to the Giants for edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau. You want swing? Here's a swing for you. The kind of move you make at the deadline when you want to guarantee further that you could win a Super Bowl. Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson would make an unbelievable duo. They could terrorize the league. The Giants have Brian Burns and rising star Abdul Carter, and they may see a chance to get out of a cap hell if they move Thibodeau. The Giants are a fun team, and they're not likely to make the playoffs. I said that the other day. I said the Giants are a fun and dangerous team. The rebuild is happening. They'd probably love a second-round pick. That's really a third-round pick. This is the only guy on the list that would have this year and in 2026. He comes with a $14.7 million cap next year, but the Lions are in control of whether they want to build on that after they get everyone else taken care of. This is a giant swing, but low risk and high reward. Not going to lie, guys. Very enticing. I'm getting a little high on this right now. Am I the only one who's getting a little high on the Kayvon Thibodeau fumes? Am I smoking too much Thibodeau? I think I've smoked too much Thibodeau, guys. I think I'm getting a little too high on this now. Oh, I'd give up a second-round pick for Kayvon Thibodeau. Are you serious? When Haverstein went down at tackle, McVay did not play Humphreys or Quessenberry. Going with a young backup instead, Rams might be open to trading one of those 2 vet tackles. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate it, brother. When I seen, I didn't know if you were still watching, dude, but when I seen them start talking about the DJ Humphreys, I was like, I hope the Rams fans are in the chat. I hope Johnny's got some insight for us, brother, because I don't really like the LA Rams. I don't like Matt Stafford, so I don't really follow them too much. I do still think it's hilarious that Jared Goff stooped Shane McVay's wife. I think that's hilarious, and then got traded. Brad has to be cheap. He's got a lot of studs to pay. I know, dude. I know, Sam, and that's kind of the problem with a guy like a Thibodeau. And the reality is all these other guys are one-year rental players, which is fine if you want a nice push. We're going to approach it from an NBA perspective of bringing in the one-year rental to make a championship run. I would prefer to have a 2 to 3 year solution. You know, if we can go out and we can get a young guy like a Kayvon Thibodeau for relatively cheap, a second-round pick when you're to Motor City is really a third-round pick. You know what I'm saying? If Brad Holmes could package a relatively palatable deal for Kayvon Thibodeau, I'm kind of all in on it. I love Stafford, but not his wife. The trade worked out well for both the Lions and the Rams. Johnny Ripple. The reason I don't like Matt Stafford is because of his wife. I can't stand her. She's a bitch, dude. She's a psycho, babbling, crazy bitch, dude. I hate Matt. Hate's a strong word. I very much dislike Matt Stafford's wife. And personally, I think he looks goofy with his veneers. Matt Stafford always kind of had, kind of fucked up teeth, and we just kind of rolled with it. And then he went out to L.A., and he got those big goofy veneers. It just never really was my thing. But you're right, Johnny. You're right in that the trade did work out for both sides. I have said numerous times that although Matt Stafford has a ton of stats, okay, and does have a Super Bowl ring, Matt Stafford has a better chance of getting into the Hall of Fame when Jared Goff gets into the Hall of Fame because of how their careers are tied together due to this trade. Now, what do I mean? I've said it before that you can't tell that to get into the NFL Hall of Fame, the major requirement is you can't tell the story of the NFL without X player. Matt Stafford, I think you can tell the story of the NFL without him, even though he did win a Super Bowl in L.A. However, you can't tell the story of the NFL without Matt Stafford if the Detroit Lions, led by Jared Goff, wins a Super Bowl. Because if the Detroit Lions, led by Jared Goff, win a Super Bowl, not only is that the largest and biggest turnaround in professional sports history, taking the worst franchise in all of professional sports to the highest summit in all of professional sports, led by Jared Goff, who was unceremoniously sent out of LA to Detroit. His career was over. He was sent here to die. He was a bridge quarterback, couldn't do anything. If he's able to turn his career around with the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell and win a Super Bowl, not only does that justify Jared Goff's position in the Hall of Fame, but you can't tell the story of Jared Goff coming to the Motor City and ultimately turning around the franchise without also talking about Matt Stafford. Therefore, both of those two guys' Hall of Fame career trajectories are kind of tied together. What benefits Jared Goff also benefits Matt Stafford. Does that make sense? She is crazy, attention-seeking nutcase. So her and her podcast are a perfect match for L.A., dude. She fits L.A., doesn't she, brother? She fits right into L.A. Guys, I was going to talk about briefly, we are running a little late, but Potterville football cancels final 2 remaining games. This is a little bit local story. Potterville High School has canceled their final 2 remaining games. This is where it gets silly. Potterville 8-man football announced it was canceling the rest of the remaining schedule on Monday. Vikings coach Kevin Schaefer listed a lack of healthy players and a bunch of injuries as part of the reason why the team is canceling the rest of the season. You're already fielding an 8-man team, which I'm going to be honest, I've never watched 8-man football, so I don't. What 3 positions? Do you guys know anything about 8-man ball? What 3 positions are taken out for 8-man football? At least like offensively, what 3 positions? So you're going to have your quarterback, running back, probably a couple of wide receivers, a tight end, a center, and 2 guards? Is that what we're doing? Or is it another wide receiver, take away a guard, and another running back, take away a guard? I don't know. I'm very interested in how this 8-man football thing works. I don't understand it. But why are all these players getting hurt? Now, 3-0 line, gotcha. Thanks, John. Or Johnny. I appreciate that, but I was trying to figure out how you'd break that down. So they just don't roll with tackles, huh? They just don't roll with tackles. Interesting. When I was growing up, now I know yada yada uphill both ways in the snow with no shoes. Yeah, guys got hurt. I mean, my old roommate, he tore his MCL, right? And then my junior year, oh God, what was his name? The senior quarterback, can't remember his name, McHale. He tore his ACL, and the Notre Dame offer went right out the window, which sucked for him. But injuries didn't seem to be as prevalent. And personally, I actually kind of noticed this with the NFL. Ironically, I was just thinking about this yesterday before I seen this Potterville article. I don't remember kickers getting hurt in the NFL as much as they do now. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are kickers getting hurt? Why are there so many injuries? And I had to question why exactly Weberville School canceled their season after the 3rd game. No shit. Damn, Mom, that's wild. Team got so many concussions that lived in my neighborhood. Yeah, probably, Chase, dude. Concussions were... Now, I'm going to be very honest, guys. Sam, no, they weren't that bad, actually, dude. The injuries are. But no, the team wasn't that bad. They finished... they'll finish their season with a 3-6 record. So, I mean, not a winning team, but they still had 3 wins. And I think they were on a 2-game winning streak. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, they just picked up wins over Bellevue, Teconsha, and Holton. But they will face Portland St. Pat's and Bay City All Saints. Yeah, Bay City's going to would have beat the brakes off of them. My question, though, was, like, what's going on, dude? So I started doing a little bit of digging. Now, I haven't gone football's deep into this yet, but you longtime viewers know kind of where my stance is with masculinity and just kind of the softening of society, right? The feminization of everything. And there are multiple reasons for that. Lack of fathers in the household, young boys being raised effeminately by females almost exclusively, the deterioration of iconic masculine heroes, being told that things are inherently to men are wrong, that you are wrong for being a man, that you have toxic masculinity. All of these things have been beaten, broken down, and it's crept its way into society. So I was wondering, what's going on? MHSAA football contact amount in practice. So I seen a comment on one of the articles about the Portland team where it was just some guy said it's because they don't let them do contact in practice anymore. And I was like, well, that's interesting, because dude, we were cracking fucking skulls all the time, bro. Like, there was a drill, and I think about it all the time. I'm not going to use the guy's actual name. We just called him Burr Oaks because he had a lunchbox during two-a-days that said Burr Oaks on it, and we didn't know what his name was, so we just called him Burr. And poor Burr it was a defeat the double team drill, and it was me and tons of fun doing the double team, and old Burr, well, he had to defeat the double team. Now, me and tons of fun were both first team all conference defensive and offensive linemen, and we've been playing ball since we were knee high. Poor Burr Oak, he wanted something to do, so he joined the football team. And well, he didn't defeat the double team, and just so we're clear, me and tons of fun together were pushing 700 pounds, and Burr was maybe 230 soaking wet. The sound that he made was something similar to when we crushed him, and then ultimately found out his L4 and L5 basically got turned into dust, unfortunately. But this to be said that when he was laying there like a broken puddle on the field, all coach said was, all right, guys, move the drill 5 yards south and 5 yards east, because and then he was like, trainers, get over here. Now, yes, that is a catastrophic injury, but the point being is that we were doing these drills every single day, strengthening that muscle, getting accustomed to the hits, the contact, the nicks and bruises, and ultimately learning how to deal with and play through it. Now, I'm not saying go out there and play through a broken leg, but you need to learn how to be a little bit more of a fucking man, dude. So during the preseason, MHSAA football teams are limited to a maximum of 6 hours of, quote, collision contact per week with no more than one collision practice per day. Once the regular season begins, this limit drops to a maximum of 30 minutes of collision contact. Sorry, I just turned into Robert F. Kennedy right there. Collision contact is defined as live game speed player versus player contact with pads, while thud contact, full speed above the waist, no one goes to the ground, is not counted towards this limit and is unlimited. Preseason contact limits. Collision contact up to 6 hours per week, Monday through Sunday. Collision contact practice per day, no more than one collision contact practice per day. Inter-squad scrimmage, this is where it gets fucking stupid. Inter-squad scrimmages count as half of the total time. An example, 2 hours of scrimmage counts as 1 hour of collision contact. Doesn't make sense to me. Well, whatever. Thud contact, unlimited, full speed above the waist contact. Without players going to the ground, it does not contact. You call that a walkthrough. That's called a walkthrough. That's called pads and shorts, guys. It's called pads and shorts. Thud practice. It's called pads and shorts, bitch. In-season contact is limited. Collision contact up to 30 minutes per week. So, during the season, when your guys are performing at a much higher level, 3 hours every Friday night, you're telling me that they can't have more than 5 minutes, more or less, of collision contact practice a day? That's what I'm reading. Monday through Sunday. Monday through Sunday, 7 days, right? Take 1 day out for a game. You're down to 6 games, or 6 days. Nobody's going to practice 6 days out of the week, but even if you did, 30 divided by 6 is 5. You get to go full speed for 5 minutes a day in practice. And you wonder why these guys are getting hurt. Interesting, because they're not tough. They're not tough, dude. This is bullshit. This is just bullshit. This is just bullshit, dude. You wonder what the hell's wrong with society. What are we doing up here, chat? Got to see what Humphrey's health is like. Thibodeau, I like. I like the Thibodeau a bit. If we could go get Thibodeau, I'd be happier than a pig in shit. He's healthy, but he hasn't played all year. Gotcha, Johnny. Appreciate that. Johnny Ripple with the Rams inside information. You're a beat reporter down there, brother. To use my music knowledge, that would be like practicing before I used to play a gig with... Fuck yeah, Chase. Dude, that is really funny. Chase, that is really, really funny. I'm Chasing Chase says, basically, that would be like practicing before a gig by playing air guitar. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Oh, don't stretch. That's why the cameras aren't on the field showing them stretch. The NFL was catching grief from tons of fans. Really? They don't show them? They don't stretch at all, dude? Quote Coach Green, long muscle's a strong muscle. If that song was Smoking in the Boys' Room came out right now, it would be called Vaping in the Gender-Neutral Safe Space. Vaping in the gender-neutral space, safe space, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And you couldn't even have, like, the guitar riffs because the guitar riffs are too aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Vaping in the gender-neutral safe space. I like that. Last time I can remember pregame stretching, they were showing the Giants barely stretching and just not trying at all. Why, dude? Stretching is the most important thing. Guys, I stretch first thing in the morning when I wake up, and I stretch as soon as I get home before I go to bed. Long muscle is a strong muscle. It's crazy lack of practice. Got to get good warm-up in before playing a gig. Exactly, dude. As a country, we're much softer people than we used to be, for sure. I'm going to get writing this song. Hell yeah, dude. Hell, Chase, dude, please do. Please write Vaping in the Gender-Neutral Safe Space. Oh, my God. That would be so fucking... Dude, please do that. Please. Oh, dude, that would be so funny. That would be so funny, dude. That would be awesome, bro. All right, guys, today we went down and talked about Derek Carr being open and come back to the NFL. We talked about Dan Campbell proving that the officials are lying, and then the officials then tipping their hat and saying, hey, yeah, Kansas City didn't interfere with it either. They didn't give us any input. Why would Kansas City be giving you input on the rules, dude? Why'd you say that? Why'd you say that? That's weird. Why'd you say Kansas City didn't give you any input? Why didn't you say we didn't get any input from either team? Why did you say Kansas City? That seems fucking weird. Seems a little fucking fishy if you ask me. We talked about the process on what Brian Branch can do as far as the appeals. And we talked about the statistics of how the reality is, yeah, he ain't going to win, unfortunately. Though Brian Branch did nothing wrong. Dan Campbell finally opens up and tells us it's a go. Alim, the Dream, the Dancing Bear will be out there Monday night for our Detroit Lions to chase around old Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, who's getting abused. Baker Mayfield, who's getting smoked. Dirty hits all the time, but he doesn't get the flags. He doesn't get the penalties. He hops up and he enjoys playing ball. Patrick Mahomes at his core is a baseball player, which ain't that far away from being a soccer player. We looked at 5 potential trades the Lions could make to get us over the hump and push us for a nice Super Bowl run. Say a corner that I really liked, Reek Woolen, we've talked about him before. DJ Humphries, an interesting idea, bringing in an insurance policy because the fog of war surrounding Taylor Decker is not great. Don't really know what's going on there, though not opposed to DJ Humphries, especially in exchange for a 7th-round pick. That has all upside written all over it. Jalen Phillips, a 6th-round pick in exchange for a historically injured player. unfortunately, is a Brad Holmes move. That is the move that I think Brad Holmes, if he were to make, this is the move that he's going to make out of these guys here. Arden Key, the reality is, he, as much as he can be productive, it's Za'Darius Smith 2.0. And right here is the guy that you need to be going after if you can exchange a second or even a third-round pick for Kayvon Thibodeau to get your dirty little dick beaters on him and pry him away from the cold, dead hands of a failing organization known as the New York Giants, who really don't have room for him anymore and never really knew what to do with him from the jump. Bring him on over here to the Motor City and let him run wild opposite Aiden Hutchinson. I'm here for it. You also get him for 2 years. It does come with a hefty $14.7 million cap hit. However, the upside, ooh, boy howdy. That is a terrible twosome. That is a gruesome twosome. That is oh shit. Dude, if we bring in Kayvon Thibodeau, I'm making all of the Charlie Day and Frank Reynolds gruesome twosome memes with Kayvon Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson, because they will be the gruesome twosome for sure. For sure. I would say that about Kelly, where every guy would laugh, but I have respect for your mom and Brandy. Nice, dude. Nice. Why not go after Bradley Chubb? His salary isn't that bad. Jack, I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. Good times. Jody, are you quoting the Strauss-Howe fourth generational turning theory to me on my own channel? Huh! I love you! Jody, that's awesome. You are going to fit in so well here, Jody. Good times create soft men. Soft men create bad times. Bad times create strong men. Strong men create good times. It's the Strauss-Howe fourth generational turning. And just so you guys are aware, if you want to see what's going on, you can draw a lot of social comparisons as far as how society will continue to operate. Look at the Egyptian revolution that happened a couple years ago and how the parallels between them and the civil strife that's happening here in the United States are mirroring one another. But yes, Strauss-Howe fourth generational turning theory continues to be proven factual. I would say something about watch local flag football game here, and it was terrible football. A lot of parents are putting their boys into flag instead of tackle football. This will lead to more injuries. Admittedly, John, I'm going to be very honest with you, dude. Flag football's fucking gay, dude. Flag football's gay. It's fake. It's gay. It's retarded. It has no place in it. Unfortunately, this is nothing more than, what is it, Title IX being forced down everybody. And that's why we see now men. So what I think you're seeing, and this is just a thought I just popped into my head. I haven't thought this out, so just ride with me. The introduction of things like flag football and forcing women's spaces into male sports, what is the natural outcome of that? If you're going to force us to feminize and play your stupid fucking games, then we're going to put on wigs and put chicken cutlets in our shirts and go play women's sports. Why not? Why not? If you're going to do it, then you got to fucking do it, right? It's no surprising at all. You said what I was thinking about flag football. Yeah, dude, it's faking gay. Flag football is just faking gay, dude. And Johnny, I'm going to be honest, brother. I have a really good knack for saying the things that most people are thinking. I just say it really fucking loudly and right in everyone's face. Call Branch Bibi Netanyahu because he was dropping bombs. Ryan Allen. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And, not for nothing, but since you dropped the Netanyahu name, the only reason that I'm like, this seems fishy is just like how Netanyahu came out twice and was like, I did not kill Charlie Kirk. I definitely did not kill Charlie Kirk. The fact that the refs are like, oh, we definitely did not get a call from the NFL or the Chiefs. They definitely didn't call us. The fact that you're saying it makes me even more suspicious, dude. Like, you didn't have to say it, but now I'm like, why'd you say that, dude? Why'd you say that, dude? Explain it to me like I'm a dumbass. Why does Kansas City have any input on the officiating of the game? That I will never know, and that is the question that we all need to find answers for eventually, but we know the reality of the situation. Guys, it's been a very engaging Wednesday, hump day edition of the Hat and Beard Show. We ran a little bit long, but that's okay because I got the day off today, tomorrow, and then don't worry, guys, Friday I get to roll into a determination hearing because guess what? Your boy got in trouble again for asking a stupid question. We talked about it last week. It's that old why question. They don't like being asked why when they do stupid things. And then what's really awesome is my idiot boss really doesn't like it when I'm sitting in their little investigation, and he says, well, Hat, if you'd have done X, Y, and Z, we never would have been in this position. And I couldn't handle it anymore. I go, yeah, and if you had 2 fucking cents to rub together and were actually worth your shit as a manager, you would have put your foot down and said, we're not taking these fucking exterior doors off until the new doors are here because I'm not putting the cart before the horse. The material's not on site. But I said, you don't have enough common sense to look 6 inches past the tip of your own damn nose. You love to create a mess and then pat yourself on the back for cleaning up the mess. You're incompetent, inept, and frankly, just downright stupid. They did not like that statement very much, but it's the fucking truth. The Fourth Turning book is great. Enjoyed the show. Take care. Go Rams. Johnny Ripple, thank you, dude. Have yourself a good day, dude. Stay out of trouble. It's hump day. It's all downhill into the weekend now, brother. Hopefully we earned your support, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning, brother. Guys, it's been a wonderful show. Thank you for everyone for tuned in, who shared this around, who commented, who has done everything to help get us to where we are at. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. here at youtube.com/The Hat and Beard Show. We are the largest, fastest growing Detroit Lions and NFL content creation station, broadcasting exclusively in the 10 a.m. slot from Grandma's Studio 1. If you hit every single one of those barometers, I am number 1. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. That's what we love about you. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Until then, bonga bonga. Frig off.